Some spend a lifetime looking for ancient treasures. For the lucky few, historic gems are passed down as family heirlooms or surface accidentally in the backyard. Today we'll be taking a look at 15 such incredible and unexpected finds in the world. Without further ado, let's get started. 15. OTZI the Iceman. A body was discovered frozen in glacial ice in the OTZI Alps at the border between Italy and Austria in 1991. While initially assumed to be the corpse of some unsuspecting mountaineer, the body was eventually found to be ancient, dating back to around 3255 BC. The mummy was named OTZI after the place of his discovery. OTZI died around 700 years before the building of the Great Pyramid of Giza began. Examination of the body provided a wide range of details, from his last meal to his origins to his cause of death. He had been the victim of violence. But the most intriguing aspect of OTZI's legacy might well be a series of tattoos on his body. Dozens of markings and lines are carved over areas usually associated with acupressure, such as joints and spine, leading researchers to conclude that tattoos were not just done in the name of ornamentation, but were a primary form of medicine. 14. The loudest fish. You might not associate fish with any type of noise, but there is this specific species that is very vocal during its reproduction phase. Known as the Gulf corvina, it is a large silver fish that is roughly the size of a snowboard. During the spring season, shoals move together to the Colorado River Delta when the lunar phases and tides are perfect. When the corvinas gather, they can cover space spanning miles. This event is worth seeing. During 2014, scientists followed the species and recorded their sound. The loudest sound recorded among them was hitting a deafening 150 decibels, which is a record among fish species. This is even louder than a jet taking off. 13. Largest octopus nursery. Octopus is a solitary animal, but a recent discovery showed over 100 of them nesting together near Costa Rica. This was truly a sensational find. But this discovery fades in comparison to another incredible and accidental find in 2018. It was off the coast of California that marine biologists were trying to study an underwater volcano through a remotely controlled vehicle. As the vehicle turned at a point, they were surprised to see over 1,000 octopus huddled together in a deep-sea garden. Over 99% were females guarding their eggs in the cracks of that volcano. 12. Garden of Glass. The deepest volcano in the world was discovered in 2015. It was anything but simple and unexpected. A deep-sea submersible was examining the Mariana Trough in the Pacific Ocean at a depth of 4,500 meters. What they saw there was straight out of a Gothic novel. An underwater volcano had released blackened and intertwined lava tendrils. It was described as a nightmarish garden of glass. At that depth, the cold water had rapidly cooled down the lava, forming this incredible structure. Just take a look. The visuals are mind-blowing. 11. Baghdad batteries. Several interesting jars were found in the ruins of Mesopotamia. They contained copper spikes and iron cylinders. Although this creation still remains a mystery, there have been various interesting theories about it. It is assumed that if these jars were to be filled with acidic grape juice, they would produce enough voltage. Even the modern reconstruction of these jars have shown that they could produce enough voltage, but this still requires a lot of evidence. 10. VISBY lens. VISBY lenses are a set of rock crystals discovered in Viking graves in Sweden. All of them are polished into very precise vision-enhancing forms. They are capable of magnifying objects, but like modern magnifying glasses, they could also concentrate on light. Consequently, they may have been used to light fires or even to perforate wounds. 9. Ancient underwater city of Pavlopetri. Found in 1967 by Dr. Nick Fleming, this port town of the Neolithic era is situated off the southern coast of Greece. According to Fleming in 2009, Pavlopetri is even older than most of the ancient underwater ruins that have been found. The estimated area of the town is approximately 100,000 square meters. Its remote location potentially stopped it from being harmed by humans until it was found. 8. A giant pharaoh. King Sa-Nakht would have been a typical man by today's standards, but 4,700 years ago, The human height was smaller. This pharaoh was 6 feet 2 inches tall, allowing him to look down on his subjects. This enigmatic ruler lived around 2700 to 2575 BC. His remains were recovered from an elite desert tomb in 1901. It has been seen throughout the history that rulers were taller than the rest, but King Sanecht outgrew even his fellow Egyptian elites. It has been assumed that his abnormal height was due to acromegaly. This causes an overload of the growth hormone, which leads to gigantism. 7. A coffin birth. This woman died around 1300 years ago in the Italian town of Imola. When the archaeologists discovered her grave, she was not alone. The skeleton of her baby was also with her, and it was not just placed there. The child was positioned between her legs and pelvis, meaning it was born inside the coffin. The skull of the woman hinted at her cause of death. There was a hole drilled into her skull, which has been assumed to be from a primitive brain surgery. The surgery might have gone. She died, and so did the infant. 6. A time capsule under a Scottish bridge. In 2015, construction workers found a 121-year-old time capsule in the Cairngorms National Park in Scotland under the Ruthven Road Bridge. The capsule itself was a metal box, similar to a bank safe deposit box. When it was opened, the objects contained inside were a bottle of liquor, a newspaper from 1894, a journal, and some other items. Things in the box itself were given to the local Highland Folk Museum to be examined. It is assumed that the time capsule was hidden inside the framework of the bridge when it was first designed at the end of the 19th century. 5. World War II bomb. The Allied bombing campaign dropped approximately 3.4 million tons of explosives during the Second World War. A lot of the explosives, as many as 15%, didn't explode. They actually disappeared during the reconstruction efforts after the war had ended. As a result, many European and Asian countries continued discovering explosives under buildings and public places. On Christmas Day 2016, in the Swabian town of Augsburg, Bavaria, a 2-ton World War II RAF bomb was discovered underneath a construction site. This prompted the evacuation of 54,000 locals. 4. 60,000-year-old woolly mammoth tusk. Beneath the modern foundation and frame of a residential building in Seattle lay the fossilized tusk of the Columbian mammoth. According to the paleontologists on the site, the fossil found beneath the building was over 8 feet long. After making a complete inspection, it was confidently reported that the remains were 60,000 years old and would need to be carbon dated. 3. 16th century golden pendant. 3-year-old James Hyatt discovered an odd and precious object while playing with his dad's metal detector. After the father-son pair searched in the spot identified by the detector, they found a 500-year-old gold pendant, which was worth an estimated $4 million. The pendant weighs 1/3 of an ounce. It has a gold purity of 73%. The pendant appears to have an image of the Virgin Mary carved on it. It's also adorned with the 5 wounds of Christ. According to a BBC report, the father said they would share the money with the owner of the field if the pendant gets sold. 2. 700-year-old mummy found under a Chinese road. In 2011, a well-preserved mummified woman was found beneath a modern road in the Taizhou district of the Jiangsu province of eastern China. The woman was a member of the Ming dynasty. The mummy was found by a construction crew working on the road under which she was buried. Construction crews described her as being immersed in a gray liquid. She had a short stature and she was dressed in silk finery with robes, jewelry, and shoes. Surprisingly, her hair and eyebrows were still intact. After studying her and her tomb, the director of the Taizhou Museum, Wang Weiyan, claimed that the mummy was about 700 years old. 1. 1,600-year-old elongated skull with stone-encrusted teeth. In July of 2016, archaeologists in Mexico discovered a fascinating burial in the ancient sites of Teotihuacan. It was a 1,600-year-old skeleton of an elite woman with an elongated skull, stone-inlaid teeth, and a prosthetic tooth that was made of a green stone known as serpentine. She had been buried with 19 jars of offerings. The woman was assumed to be between 35 and 40 years old at the time of her death. She might have been a foreigner to the area, as the way her skull had been deformed and her teeth encrusted with mineral stones were not common in the area. It was said that her cranium was enlarged by being compressed in a very extreme way, using a technique typically used in the southern part of Mesoamerica. 2 round pyrite stones were encrusted in her upper teeth. This practice was also seen among nobility of Mayan regions of Central America and southern Mexico. You've just watched 15 most incredible and unexpected finds in the world. Which one of these surprised you the most? Tell us in the comments. We hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching.